Hey, what is up, everyone? It's your boys from Dirt Sheet Radio back at you live with another AEW Dynamite recap show. I am Nick LaRocco. Joining us soon will be the one and only John Escudero, and I am, of course, joined by Caesar and Robbie, per usual, in that order. Fellas, introduce yourselves.
Woohoo! Yes! We did it! I'm kidding. How's it going, guys? I'm Caesar, as always, hanging out with these two gentlemen, and, of course, the other man to join us pretty soon. And as always, to my right, there we go. It's Robbie. Robbie, as always.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Robbie once again, here again for another week of what an excellent Dynamite show it was tonight. As always, you would catch me here with Nick, Caesar as well, and John later on. You always will catch me here.
Hell yeah, Absolutely. Let's do this.
Yo, Randy, what is up?
Hey, Randy.
Well, you know what definitely was up, fellas? That six-man tag. What did we think of that trio's main event?
So
why was it not fair?
How, like I said in the group chat, it was like they've been tagging for 100 matches. You were just, I was sitting there going, okay, they're gonna do a couple typical things, and then all of a sudden, you know, Don Callis' team does these things I wouldn't expected. You know, anything from standing still after not selling a move to top rope crazy shit to Ospreay yelling at them to go for the 3-person, you know, thrust or super kick. Take your pick. It was just wall-to-wall intensity for both teams, or rope to rope.
Coming into this match, I honestly thought that the Don Callis family was actually going to implode too. Like, the Cash and I want Okada, and then Will Ospreay saying no, just wait, youngin. I honestly thought that was going to be going downhill from there, but as Caesar said, it was balls to the wall crazy tonight. One of the best trios matches I've seen in AEW in a long time.
Exactly.
Can we say that almost Takeshita was booked as a monster in this match?
Hey, man comes out wearing an Oni mask, of course.
But like, there were times where he would just hit something, disappear for like 2 minutes, and then show up and basically destroy Okada or one of the Bucks. Did everybody say maybe Ospreay and Fletcher take it next week and Okada gets taken down by Takeshita? I think it'd be a good rub.
You probably say something like that. Am I the only one that kind of was getting some vibes from Minoru Suzuki when it came to Takeshita, the way he was just kind of stalking around ringside, waiting for his opportunity to just jump in and basically take someone out?
I could see it.
I felt that, yeah. And also, I thought he was booked like a monster too tonight, because if you remember, guys, they were the Young Bucks or the EVPs. They were hitting their normal double super kick they always do, and he just like old school Minoru Suzuki took it up the just ate it, and they just clotheslined them both. I thought Takeshita was a huge monster tonight. This was definitely a night where they needed to book him strong.
There was one thing I was kind of partially waiting for, which is a lot of Japanese wrestlers do, where they lean back and they yell at the opponent, yelling "Come on!" Like Shinsuke Nakamura does it, and I think Minoru does something similar. So I thought Takeshita was going to do something like that. He didn't do that, so I was kind of bummed a little bit. I know that's a little thing. That's just some little thing, but still, yeah. The whole group here agrees. Takeshita looked like a freaking monster.
Yeah, and we got to talk too about the dissension in the ranks that it seemed. Takeshita, of course, coming out, showing off his Oni mask, but not wanting to fist bump his boy Fletch. But then on top of that, we had to consider the monstrous disaster that was the audio malfunction at the entrance for good old Okada. The overlap was rough, and it was nothing compared, though, to the awesomeness of the overlapping storylines that we had in this match, because there was a lot of different variables going in here with some stuff coming up. Of course, we got Fletch and Ospreay taking on the Bucks. We're going to be having, of course, Okada and Takeshita. We just had the kind of promo going on. Anything you can do, I can do better. That's been with Ricochet and Ospreay, because remember, that awesome match with Ricochet and Mortos took place right before this one.
We'll talk about it in a minute, though. No, what I was going to say is it weird that with the three of them, the Don Callis family, we'll call it right now, they're getting heavily cheered, and same with Okada. Like, he was getting cheered hard, even though he's being a dick, or being Okada.
That's one of the things, though, is he's being Okada, so how can the fans not want to cheer for him?
Oh, of course. It's just like I said. You noticed that, and it's like he does his usual Rainmaker pose, no money spraying, but the crowd is still going mental. So,
and the thing too about Okada is, like everybody says, he's Okada. He was cheered over in Japan. The fact too is Okada is still over no matter where he's at. It doesn't matter if he's in AEW. Didn't matter if he went to WWE. To me, he's just like AJ Styles or a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. No matter if he's heel, everybody's going to cheer him on. And that was one thing too. And I think I said this in our chat earlier too, was talking about where the situation is he heel in this situation. Some heel tendencies from him.
I think he's like an anti-hero. That's what I look at it as being.
I mean, we still see him coming out through the heel gateway, and I do.
So did Fletcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different though in the sense that Fletcher is working alongside the well-beloved Ospreay.
That's like I said, everyone was cheering their whole team tonight. So
because I see it as like a whole just what's the word I'm looking for?
Switch.
I see there's different sides of the spectrum where you got Ospreay all the way over here is the superhero good guy. You've got, of course, Takeshita, who's like the legitimate monster. He's the Oni mask wearing killer. And then right in the middle, you got Fletcher, who's kind of caught in between with the evil Don Callis, but he's also teaming up with the GOAT Will Ospreay.
All we can do is wait and see.
Sorry, Mac.
Oh,
but yeah, fellas, any more major points to look at for that main event?
All I can say is I'm curious if they're trying to set up these three as a future trio going down the road, because I'm all for it as the three of them. The Don Callis, that's all I got on that one. That's
I think too. The one thing we wanted to point out too, at the end of the match when they won, we saw the Titantron too. It said United Empire on it. Didn't say Don Callis family or anything.
Is that a tease?
It said United Empire. No. Is this what they're going for?
Remember, go on.
Is this going to be a thing where Don Callis and Kesher is going to kick Fletcher and Ospreay out, and that's how they're going to do it? Because at this point now, they're just foreshadowing. They're just like giving us this little bone. Like, come on, everybody knows we want to see United Empire come back.
Don't remember too. Tony Schiavone kept referring to them as United Empire on commentary.
Oh my God, yes.
That's true.
If you took
Don Callis kept correcting him,
hot sauce and everything, or alcohol or whatever you're into, yeah, you'd be like, ooh.
That and Ricochet too, earlier in the night, referred to Ospreay, like, you're too busy trying to bring back United Empire. So is that what they're trying to do? They're just giving a little foreshadowing points here, and then that's when they'll bring it back.
But the question though, if we're doing that foreshadowing, when do they pull the trigger? Next week?
That's what I'm wondering.
Or Wrestle Dream? That's the only thing I'm wondering. Because like I said, where's Mark Davis? Like, is he back to like square one? Is he healthy?
Well, this brings up a point that Mac wrote in.
Of course, it's Mac.
Mac having a strange fear that we're going to be seeing Mark Davis getting thrown into the whole situation very soon, creating yet another wrinkle in the Don Callis family saga. What say you guys? What do you think? Do you think the addition of Mark Davis is going to cause things to get a little muddier, or do you think it's just what the doctor ordered?
If it's the right time, do it. That's all I can really think of saying right now. But other than that, I don't know how to finish that sentence, because again, if they come back, do they challenge for the trios belt as faces? Do they come back and have the two of them Aussie Open go for tag belts? What do? They can't just bring it back and that's it. There has to be some kind of storyline.
Got to have that plan in place.
And I'm going to have to agree with Caesar on that too. And plus, it's going to come into a factor of where is Don Callis in this situation and Takeshita. And also, do they even bring Jeff Cobb in to do it as well? Because he was also part of the original United Empire in New Japan. So do they bring Jeff Cobb as well? But honestly, I think that when it comes to Mark Davis, we just got to see to tell if that's what's going to happen. We just got to watch it play out. I can't say if it's going to be muddier in the water or if it's going to be like the whole situation with, hey, everybody's cool with it. I don't know yet. That's just going to be something we just going to have to see for ourselves.
See Max saying that Kyle Fletcher was in the
Um,
family before Davis got hurt. I think that came after, so he might not have
No,
any allegiance.
No, I think what happened was not Kyle Fletcher. Davis got hurt. They had to drop all the belts they had or all the challenges, and then Fletcher kind of just, dare we say, roamed the back room for a bit, and then eventually he got brought in to help Don Callis, and then eventually became like in the whole thing. So that's what I remember at least. But that's why we had the interwebs or the Dirt Sheet Radio.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check out our past episodes on that topic. But one of the biggest things to point out, though, was the one who got the pinfall to secure the victory was Kyle Fletcher.
You have to love that face he made, like he was like a kid on Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, that's one of the biggest things I got to say about the Fletch. I mean, the way he screams, the way he emotes, the way he just makes his face just show any and all emotion. He's honestly got a lot of that kind of WWE style storytelling down, and I think he is honestly going to become like the total package and not Lex Luger. Like, he's going to legitimately be the total package down the line.
I want to see, I don't know if anyone here has ever found one. I want to see if someone can find a compilation of either Kyle Fletcher's screaming during matches or his selling. Because those would be interesting to watch. You'd hear like and then a sell. Or you'd see a sell, or you'd hear a scream. You know that for a fact.
Or he's running, and you hear the most primal scream.
I'd shit myself if I was in a ring and I heard that all of a sudden. You know it's over. You just hear screaming coming at you.
Well, this is the end of the line for me, folks.
That'd be so funny, though.
All right. Well, if that's all we had to say there for the main event, we will circle on right back to the very start of the show. Well, actually, let's take a look at what's been going on before the show. We had some dark matches, fellas. Satnam Singh with Jay Lethal in his corner defeated Colt Cabana. This is the 5th time since the beginning of August that they've been running this, so it's apparent that Colt Cabana has been training Satnam Singh one way or another. And hey, hopefully things work out. You don't always get a 7'4" giant monster on your roster. Yeah. Truly one in a billion.
They're not what's it called? They're not on sale at Walmart. You just walk in and pick them off the shelf. There you go.
And especially in this day and age, finding a giant in professional wrestling in these days is hard to come by now, especially when you're trying to find somebody that can actually is tall and that can actually work. That's been the problem with trying to find a giant in this age. Is a lot of the giants that a lot of people have picked up for, and they're not able to move or do anything functionally. So I think it's probably why they're doing that with Colt Cabana, is giving Satnam Singh that little grace period of, hey, we're willing to work with you. We want to get you in ring. We want you to get better at what you're doing, which we've seen it in professional wrestling many times where they want a big star out of somebody like a Singh, and then they give them that training there, give them those dark matches, giving them how it is like to feel, how it is like to work, how the camera works and stuff like that. And honestly, maybe we see Singh at some time down the line working a lot more in Ring of Honor to try to get back up into AEW.
Yeah, I mean, who better to put Satnam Singh in there to train with than, a 25-year veteran that has done it all, has been a part of a lot of major moments in history, either by design or just accidental, in Colt Cabana.
So if I'm going to make a joke point and then a serious point, one thing, obviously we want to see Satnam Singh hitting a shooting star press, right, guys? Obviously.
Of course.
For sure.
Moonsault.
Top rope, moonsault, line salt, take your pick.
The Satnam salt.
The Satnam Singh. There you go. No.
Satnam Singer Splash.
Oh, the Singer Splash. There we go. T-shirts. Let's go. No. If anyone can remember or can figure this out for me off the top of your head, who do you think is bigger and taller, Great Khali or Satnam? I'm assuming Khali is bigger in size.
I think they actually might be the same height. If I remember, Khali was billed at 7'4". I think Khali is bigger in weight size, but I'm not sure about height.
No, for sure weight size. Satnam has got a, dare we say, a build, but like Khali's got a build.
Yeah, well, remember, Great Khali's got that bodybuilding background going on. I believe Satnam Singh is a few inches taller, though. Pulling up the Google machine now. Bear in mind, we've got kayfabe weights and heights being thrown a plenty around, so bear with us on that.
Neek's actually 9'2", guys. So
you weren't supposed to reveal, man.
I was gonna say 9'3". That's too tall, though.
But listen, regardless, you got some monsters there. Mac brings up a very excellent point, though. They want to make Satnam a sing, but they have Lance Hoyt on the roster, not doing anything with him. And again, not just the giant wrestlers, but also look at the big, beefy powerhouses like a Brian Cage and a Wardlow.
Mm-hmm.
They need a division with a title just for those dudes.
Super heavyweight division, man. There's a lot of super heavyweights.
Ultraweight. Call it that.
I can dig that. But
the ultraweight championship, let's go. Everyone above 350, 400.
Speaking of some incredible monsters in AEW, though, we also had the native beast Nyla Rose defeating Gia Scott, who we haven't seen in a while since the Dark and Elevation days.
Hold on. I'm gonna sound like a moron, but let's see this.
What is Caesar looking up?
I'm actually going to comicbookclick.com.
Woo! Go check out comicbookclick.com, and you're going to be catching up on everything and anything nerd culture.
No, I had that open anyways. No, I was actually looking up who Gia Scott was because it doesn't ring a bell.
I don't think I've ever seen Gia Scott either. I had never really watched Elevation much, so I don't know.
I watched a lot of it, but all of it's a big mishmash in my brain. So.
Wow. Hey, speaking of big mishmashes, though, we have the opening contest that everyone got to see for Dynamite 259. That was Orange Cassidy leading out the conglomeration to, of course, the greatest song in AEW's roster right now. Where is my mind? Taking on Chris Jericho alongside the Learning Trees, Brian Keith, and Big Bill. Fellas, what did we think of this match? Caesar volunteered with the coughing.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I made a note about this in my papers, okay? And of course, because I'm a nerd, I have a Game Boy. So the young people that are watching a Game Boy is ancient technology.
Just about.
But basically it's in museums now. But anyways, so hear me out. Okay. When it came to this match with OC and Jericho, does it seem like if you put Jericho with the right person and give him the right amount of time, he can have an actually really good match at his time or his age, versus you put him with nobody and he has the shittiest match possible? Or is it just me?
I think I can agree with that, because if you kind of look at what Jericho's been doing as of late, he hasn't been having those great matches that he's been having earlier on in AEW. Yeah. I think since Jericho and Cassidy have worked with each other before, it made sense, and that everybody says it in professional wrestling, you need in-ring chemistry. You don't just need a storyline, but if you want to make a good match, they have to have good chemistry. And I think because they worked together before during the COVID time.
Oh, I missed that.
I think that's what helped him. And it's not to say Jarrett's getting up there in age. He could still do brilliant. There's a good example where he was working at CMLL the other day and was facing Mystico, and that match looked like it was dog shit. So
that's on. I think exactly. So it's not just me, at least. What do you think, Neek? You on the same page as this, or?
Yeah, I have to agree. And I mean, pro wrestling's greatest matches were built upon wrestlers that had amazing chemistry with one another, or had those deep personal relationships, which are built from chemistry.
Now, before anyone in the chat attacks me, because people have to have their opinions, Mac. What I'm referring to is you don't have to have the flippy flips and all the wild crazy shit and this and that. It's just if you can dance with your partner or your partners and it goes, and Nick and Robbie were saying, is whether it's chemistry, personal relationships, and so forth. I don't need someone to spend 20 minutes doing backflips and top rope shit and ladder spots. If you want to do that, then make it a title or a TLC, whatever it's called, match. But for a regular match, this was worth its weight in gold or TV time, whatever.
Or coins. Yeah. But, I mean, one of the biggest things I'd say with this match was just beyond Jericho and Orange Cassidy bringing their respective skill sets into here. You also had the outside characters that really added a lot of different variety into this match with Briscoe and O'Reilly. And, of course, the Giant Redwood, Big Bill, who is probably the biggest star in this whole match, according to the audience that was watching it. Where were they at? They were at Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, yep.
Pennsylvania.
I was trying to figure that out earlier. I was like, PA is Pennsylvania, right?
And of
Yes.
course, Brian Keith. So it was a good showing from all of them. Like Tony Schiavone mentioned, we had the Jacksonville rematch from that pandemic era. So it was nice to have it in front of a crowd, of course. But we had an Orange Punch with a roll of quarters that was brought in there. Of course, the quarters that were dumped all over Jericho's car that Big Bill was forced to clean up. But let me just say for the record, everyone, Orange Cassidy literally cheated and he stole Juice Robinson's gimmick. That's all I gotta say on that one.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I'm gonna say this: Jericho had it coming. Jericho was gonna cheat too, so I guess it's like calling Ace a spade when it comes down to that. But the match overall was pretty good. I was honestly, when they announced it was gonna happen last week, I'm like, oh, getting this rematch we haven't seen since the pandemic. And honestly, the match entirely was great. A lot of teases of tapping almost. He put him in the walls like 3 times, still couldn't tap him out. He was going for that orange punch, and Jericho perfectly timed that and hit the code breaker. I thought it was over there, but I think that everything between Jericho and Cassidy, this ain't over yet. Cassidy's 2-0 against Jericho. Jericho eventually has to beat him at some point. When we come back into how the run-ins were, that big boot, Brian trying to get involved in Briscoe brawling, Kylo driving Big Bill down like he's a tree. This had all aspects of being what an entertaining match was, and that was a really great opener. Very solid from start of the bell to the finish. Can't wait to see what more comes out of this. Maybe they're going to do Conglomeration versus the Learning Tree in a one big fun match at some point. Maybe at Wrestle Dream, maybe at here. Who knows at this point?
For sure. Mac writes in, Jericho and Cassidy have fought around 30 times. Hyperbole, of course, gentlemen. So, of course, they're going to have a great match with each other. Jericho just needs to get off TV for about 6 months, and this is coming from a huge Chris Jericho fan.
You know, I 100% agree with Mac on this one.
Yeah.
Whether it's an injury angle or it's like he just goes, you know what, I hate this shit. I'm out for a bit. Go on tour with Fozzy. Go stay with your family. Hell, go put your feet up in Winnipeg there, bud, and sit around for a little bit and drink some Tim Hortons.
Berta.
I kind of agree with Cedar on this one, too. I love Chris Jericho. Jericho is one of the biggest reasons why I started to watch wrestling.
Yep.
And I think with how his age is at this point in time, he deserves sense of the whole deal, even working back with All In. I honestly think it's time for Jericho to just lay back, relax, because you can see when a wrestler at that age, their body is getting beaten down. You can see visually of how much wrestling it actually affects him. Sure, he's only wrestling for AEW realistically 2 or 3 times out of the week, and then he's also doing other stuff, come CMLL and stuff like that. I think as a fan who also cares about the human being of the wrestler, I honestly would like to see him take a break for a bit, heal up, come back better than ever.
Like we said, just go tour for a bit. Go for like a year. Just go away for a bit.
You know what I would really like is, even if he has to absolutely be on week to week, like it's just some thing that the Turner Networks just said, no, he has to be on here. I would absolutely love it too. If he just stepped aside even to let, Big Bill do his thing. I mean, the guy is clearly someone that the fans want to see. I mean, he's an amazing comeback story when you think about, all the stuff he's been through in his wrestling career, and, going from basically rock bottom to now being one of the biggest guys on there, pun intended. And then you've, of course, got Brian Keith, who everyone had wanted to get signed, and people legitimately petitioned for Brian Keith to get signed. And on top of that, he's got a real good new theme song that we don't get to hear much because he's always with Jericho.
What if Jericho went backseat and become a manager for the group?
I would like to see that, but I don't know if Jericho would be. I wonder why Jericho isn't taking backseat. Maybe it's because Jericho doesn't think so because of the creative control. Because that's the thing. Maybe there's a reason why Jericho hasn't been taking a backseat in anything that he's done. We don't know. We are not backstage. No.
No, we're just on Dirt Sheet Radio. Everyone's
Yeah.
Right, make sure you come in every Wednesday, and guess what? Dirt Sheet Radio, we're always on. But that's also one of the big things to remember. Again, it's Chris Jericho. He's a name. He is a draw. You can't deny the effect that Jericho does have on the product. Let's go and check out. We got some of the comments on here. Hey, Jeremy, how's it going? Fletcher is a beast. He's the future. Absolutely, dude.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Mac asking, can we also talk about how AEW pretended that Jericho beat Mystico in the 2 out of 3 falls match in Mexico?
Kayfabe.
I didn't watch the match.
Kayfabe, brother. That's what works for him.
Yeah.
Someone's got to enlighten me. What happened in that match? Did he win or what?
No, he did not. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Usually in Mexico,
Faster.
they run 2 out of 3 falls matches because those are Lucha rules. So
Yeah.
Jericho, to my understanding, got the first fall. Mystico got the last W. Made it sound like that Jericho beat him, but they didn't
That's stupid.
announce that it was a 2 out of 3 falls match ahead of time.
Oh boy.
So it's more loose, like that kayfabe thing. What a lot of promotions do to make their better. We don't know, but that's what
Yawn.
it was. It was Mystico won, but AEW wanted to make Jericho look like he was the bigger star in the match.
That reminds me, there was a time, this goes back, this was like the Clash of the Champions in like September 1990, and the Steiner brothers beat a team on there. A lot of people probably never heard of them. They're called Maximum Overdrive, but they were tag team champions of a certain promotion. Do not remember the promotion's name off the top of my head. Chat, if you remember, let us know. And that promotion just started rolling with the lovely logic that is pro wrestling and said, hey, the Steiners just beat our champions live on pay-per-view, so we're going to say that the Steiners were our tag team champions. Oh, hey, the Steiners didn't defend for 30 days. Guess what? We stripped them. And the Steiners didn't know that they were champions. WCW didn't know the Steiners were champions for this promotion. So it's fun wrestling things where promotions just don't communicate.
I just remember it's really funny about that is like, I think there's actually a metal band from Japan with the same name.
Hey, there we go.
As crazy as that is, that's so random. Anyways,
all right, moving on back. We have, of course, the well. Before then, we had the remainders, the remnant. What should we call them? Anyways, John Moxley's group were over there discussing Wheeler Yuta. Remember, Claudio and Pac are trios champions with Wheeler Yuta. They're still discussing things, and hey, they wanted to throw the olive branch out there to Wheeler Yuta. They said, hey, Yuta, despite everything, we want to still team with you because you're still the champ with us. But Moxley said that he believes Wheeler Yuta will do the right thing, but Yuta's free to leave, and he can do whatever he wants. Following up with that, we immediately had Alex Marvez speaking with Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta's been in rough shape. We see he's still been wearing on, Collision and Rampage, his lovely Blackpool Combat Club jacket. He still had the Tron. He was still wanting to represent. And remember the thing, too, with Wheeler Yuta, this man witnessed basically a legitimate murder of his hero. So Yuta is accidentally saying that he's going to be fighting at Wrestle Dream, and then he forgets one of his championship titles in the back, so a stagehand has to go and bring it back to him.
It's not a stagehand. He's a local talent.
The local yokel.
The local stagehand has to go and bring Yuta's title back to him. He does look very familiar, doesn't he?
Kind of does, but I don't know who knows.
Chat, who is that? Let us know.
In disguise.
Oh, going back to my previous topic, Mac saying the Pro Wrestling America Tag Champs. Thank you, Mac.
Mac just knows everything.
That's why we love him.
Mm-hmm.
But what did we think? What did we think, fellas, about the just dueling
I feel
constitutions between two different sides who are all champions together in the trios division?
Beforehand, I used to make fun of Yuta. Now I'm not sure how to feel.
I feel bad. That's what I feel.
I mean, I do feel bad, but I'm like, dude, just shut up and defend the titles.
He did say he's committed to being a champion still,
which I applaud. But at the same time, it's like storyline wise, it's like, what's like, what? How could they? What could they do? Give the belt to Mox? No. But
bring in the newest member.
Hey, Freebird it. You can always
remember that. No.
If you try freebirding it, CD will get mad.
That's what I was just gonna say. CD's gonna come out of nowhere. Send for the CD. He'll come out of nowhere.
Exactly. But, you know what? All right, go on, Robbie.
But yeah, I also feel too on with Caesar on this one. It's like this is wrestling. Just if you're a champion, you're supposed to defend it. Yes, you say you're going to defend it, but it was also announced later. They even talked about it on commentary. You have a clear head right now, so that's definitely going to play a factor in the Grand Slam next week when they do the trios title match. But the thing is, too, I can also foresee it where Wheeler is sitting on there and then he walks off too, and just, you know what, I'm done. Because after all, as we were saying, that was Bryan Danielson was his hero. He saw his hero get absolutely murdered.
Legitimately.
Pretty much.
And ironically, Wheeler Yuta just seems like he's a mental mess. He went on Collision last Saturday and won his match off the cattle mutilation.
Yep.
It just seems like right now, I don't know what they're going for in this. If it's one of those things where it's like, do I feel sympathy for this guy, or do they call him out for winning a title, but yet still not getting his head in the game for next week?
I'm just gonna wait and see. Plain and simple.
You know what? For me, I think the biggest thing that these two promos side by side really did was explain to me why they didn't just jump Yuta when the initial attack happened on Bryan Danielson. Again, because it makes sense now. They didn't want to hurt that guy. Yuta's a champion with them. Why would they want to? Plus, another guy that potentially joined them, and they know him. They know what he's capable of. He's fought and bled alongside them.
Moxley did
Max saying, "Yeah, go ahead, Robbie."
Oh, but you can go with Mac first on this one.
Max saying he's gonna get boo-boo faced and sit on the steps like Mankind did when he thought The Rock threw his book in the trash.
Oh my god, that's
better than when you watch the Rumble of '99 and see Foley legitimately turning to The Rock and saying, "Hit me in the back," and Rock hits him in the head.
And that's the thing too. When we're discussing on Wheeler, it's actually at the end, Wheeler, I trust that you're gonna make the right decision. But the thing is, if Wheeler feels like walking away is what's right in his heart, they're going to do to him then.
Murder him?
That's what I'm thinking.
See, this could all be a setup, and then Yuta shows up next week with the team and then does the match and then brutally destroys Private Party. There we go. That's what's with, right? Private Party and Commander?
That's what I'm pretty sure of.
We'll see. They at least alluded to it, but there's a lot that we'll get to there. But speaking of destruction, hey, Hook absolutely obliterated JD Inc. And
I'm calling him the other name. I'm sorry. You got to call him the other name.
Jadink.
J-Dink.
Jadinkalij Morgoon.
J-Dink.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing Key and Peele reference. Those of you who got it. Thank you. We also had Roddy and company on commentary. I love the Mama Laraco quote that was, JD's gonna get killed. And that's exactly what happened. But Mac, I hope that you were listening to it when Roddy said that he's training for the Red Rum because Taven and Bennett are putting him in it daily.
And not for wrestling reasons.
So, you know what? This was truly a jobber match. So there's not really much to discuss there. But fellas, what do we think of JD Inc.? Yeah, what are we looking forward to with Hook and Roddy? Thumbs up.
I want to see the tattoo bill. That's what I want to see.
I mean,
give him credit.
It's kind of a cheesy.
Like
I mean, he is inked up, but it is a kind of a cheesy name in my opinion. JD Inc. I mean, I like the name JD. It's a really good name. I like that name by itself, but JD, I feel about that. But at least his ring gear look amazing. I'll give that to him. So
you might as well have just called him JD Pro Wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't deny though, he stands out and he's living his gimmick. We always love and appreciate that. Love and appreciate it.
Tattoo.
Yeah, right. All right, but now is the moment where we can discuss, of course, the legendary Quinn and Zay were talking to Alex Marvez. They're saying that, hey, they're going to be challenging the trios champions for the titles. You hated that, Caesar?
Well, I was saying in the group chat, like the way he said it was like he rumbled over his words because he was like, "I'm going to challenge the trios champions at the trios open challenge, the trios match at the trios." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 slow down, bud." Like,
Yeah, too much to drink, too much of the sauce.
Too much private party, and he had some of that boss sauce.
hanging out with
Sauce
Mark
City.
Briscoe, it seems like.
Hang out with the Iron Savages.
Ooh,
Drinking the Savage sauce. Yeah, we got
Ugh.
to discuss the potential for their third. They've been teaming a lot with Commander, of course.
it's
We've
obvious
got.
to be Alex Abrahantes.
We just saw the GOAT JD Inc. in there. We had Cheesecake always
Where's
associated
Ricky?
with them. Cheeseburger. Ricky. Who knows?
Cheesecake's gonna come full send and become champion.
That's exactly what is going to happen, and I
What
look
would
forward.
Cheesecake's fit?
The,
The VIP rope.
Yeah, that's actually a good name for it. I dig that. But moving on, we had Christian Cage with his world title document. Christian is talking. Yes, sir.
We gotta call him the proper thing, remember? Or he'll kill us.
Of course, the patriarchy. Caesar, go ahead. Give him the proper naming.
He's the reigning, defending, and soon to be next AEW champion.
Absolutely. And listen, though, as a great father, he wanted to give the spotlight to the prodigy that was Nicholas Wayne. So Nick Wayne's going to be taking on Rocky Romero, Leo Rush, and Kip Sabian in a four-way match soon. But speaking of Kip Sabian was walking into frame, and Nick Wayne said, "No, none of that." And Christian Cage, of course, challenging anyone that has had a deceased father. And the patriarchy once again threatens Kip Sabian. We all see this coming, right? That Kip Sabian's going to be the one that screws Christian Cage out of cashing in.
Oh, I would love to see that.
I would see that too. I think that's just going to happen. And then it's going to lead down to Nick Wayne versus Kip Sabian eventually. I honestly would like to see that match happen. Two guys with the same styles, they will tear it up in that ring.
But who's the face in that one?
That's for the audience to decide. Chat, who do you think the face will be for there? But let's get on to an actual wrestling match. Serena Deeb and The Glamour, Mariah May, took on Queen Aminata and Yuka Sakazaki. Listen, I already hear Matthew from Botchamania memeing all over Excalibur and Taz's commentary job this match.
Let's
match overall, though, what do you guys think?
It was good.
Robbie? I agree. It was honestly, it's good too. Like, there wasn't really much to it. I wanted to see more Mariah. I get it. Heel tactics, not wanting to get hurt. You're the champion.
I don't even care about the match when she's posing. I just kind of stared at her when she was posing, if I'm being honest.
I absolutely loved the way that Mariah May was just so bored on the apron. So then she goes down and poses with a title, and poor Serena Deeb just couldn't tag in with anyone.
One of these days, she's going to come out to the ring and have like an actual entourage ringside just sitting with her. In like a fancy chair or some shit.
Mac, when talking about the last segment we discussed, is what was the match that Kip had on Rampage where he showed the F out and people were really screaming for him to be a regular on TV? Then he just disappears for another year. Was that with Pac?
I think so.
He was with he did a bunch of triples. Oh my god. He did a bunch of trios matches with Butcher and Blade. I remember that. I
really liked them as a trio. That was fun. They worked really well together.
Trio.
Big dude, middle dude, small dude. Yeah.
Honestly, they all played off of each other nicely.
Oh yeah.
It might have been Pac, but I don't.
Imagine if we had a place to look this up, like Dirt Sheet Radio or comicbook.com.
Look at Caesar with the plugs, man. He's stealing my job, and I love it.
Paid today at all? I mean, what?
Keep this up, buddy. But yeah, speaking of exactly. Speaking of not appreciating our partners, though, of course, Serena Deeb was getting completely ignored by The Glamour, and I ended up losing my feed, so I didn't get to watch the ending. But then I came back at a very fun moment where all of a sudden I just see Mariah May just brutalizing Yuka with the World Championship.
You didn't see the end of the match then? You didn't see how it finished?
I did not.
All right, long story short, Yuka had the pin on Serena 1-2, and then Mariah came out of nowhere and smoked her in the head with the belt.
So that explains the brutalizing.
And then, of course, Mariah fed the belt to Yuka's face.
And also whipped her like a government pack mule.
Pretty much.
In the words of JR.
Bug out, bug out. But you know what?
Mm.
Somebody misses her. And we miss Mina. Of course, Mina Shirakawa. She misses Mariah May. What happened to Mariah May? Who knows? But we miss her, and we can't
All
wait.
the theories I've been seeing about this whole situation are insane.
Ooh, do tell.
Well, they're pretty straightforward theories. Mariah's gonna get a match against somebody for her belt, and Mina's gonna show up, and something's gonna go down in one of 100 ways. That's what all the theories are being right now. So, and yes, we miss Mina too.
We do miss Mina.
You know
I
who we
definitely
really
wanna see
missed? Of course. We really also missed for a very long time good old Nigel McGuinness. But more importantly, we also missed several opportunities to see this until they finally got the video going. Hey, it's live. But hey, you know what? Nigel McGuinness is announcing.
Nigel
the Nigel.
Nigel.
Big Nigel McGuinness.
Y'all are making me lose my train of thought. But I appreciate it. But the show is completely off the rails, but you know what? Countless matches around the world, a historic rivalry, two amazing legends of professional wrestling, Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson.
And of course, don't forget, if John was here right now, he'd be marking out about wanting to see this match.
Absolutely. Hey, I know I am. What say you guys? You guys looking forward to it?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it's my first one with these two, but shit, I'm gonna be excited for it.
I'm very excited for this match. I've been wanting this. I stated it last week. I've been wanting to see these guys go again for years. And
Don't
one
worry.
thing I like about what AEW does, and this is what we did for Nigel, is went and they kind of everything that has went through in their feud. How they were saying Nigel always felt second to Danielson, which is true. It is all true. Bryan was always the better out of the both of them. And I love the fact that they are basically saying this is Nigel McGuinness's redemption story, which also, for anybody out there, I don't know if, as for somebody like Caesar, who hasn't seen these matches, if you really, truly aren't hyped enough for this match yet, go out there, get yourself a option, because I heard that Honor Club ended up dropping out a whole video contemplation. And it is filled with Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness. It is the whole feud, every single match they have had in Ring of Honor. It is all right there in Honor Club. So if anybody that's not hyped up for that, go out of your way at some point. If you have time in the next week, go watch it. Because then you'll come in and you guys, like I said, I know what I'm going to expect. There's going to be some bloodshed. This is going to be joint manipulation at its finest.
Oh, yeah.
I am
Deeply personal,
ready.
baby. Absolutely, and I need to give a huge shout out to Mac for helping me have the good old Honor Club. And speaking of which, Mac, of course, saying, I'm so glad Nigel McGuinness took Up Close Magic when he retired, because if he never became a pro wrestler and you asked me what that guy did for a living, I would tell you Close Up Magic. And I understand completely, because look at the way this man is dressed. Like, you cannot tell me he's not a guest on Penn and Teller Fool Us.
I was actually gonna say, I feel like he's gonna pull out a deck of cards and be like, pick a card, and then be like, it's gone. So I kind of see what Mac is saying. I get it.
Oh yeah, I get it too.
Nigel McMagic.
Magic McGuinness.
There we go. And Magic McGuinness.
Here is Magic McGuinness.
You know, it wasn't so much magical, though. When John Moxley was coming out, let's just say, too, by the way, this Contron, his presentation, it's all really cool. I love the way that they have the police lights running back and forth on the gateways. Or Death Rider.
The Death Rider theme is boss as shit. Holy moly.
Absolutely. You know who else was absolutely boss during the segment?
Who?
Marina Shafir.
Dude, as always.
I'm still trying to process that's a Marina Shafir. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just like, you look at her and you're like, 2 months ago, she was like hair in a ponytail doing shitty matches. Now she's breaking people.
Yeah. So let's, of course, we saw the corpses surrounding them. Let's, of course, bring up the fact that Private Party did try jumping Moxley, and Moxley just nopes out of there while Claudio and Marina Shafir just annihilate Gwen and Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Commander tries to help out things and get his payback, because remember, like it was last week or the week before, they got jumped when they were getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Robbie. Yes, last week they were trying to have a match with 3 local jobbers, and them. Private Party, Commander, and the Jobbers all got crushed. And we had the same results here. And Alex Abrahantes also got absolutely obliterated. Yeah, everyone was just getting annihilated.
Scares me. I'm not going to say anything. I'd be watching.
I wish I could get this video running. John sent the follow-up of John Moxley going and grabbing a toolbox from ringside, and when someone grabs a toolbox from ringside, you know stuff's going to hit the fan. I think about when Kane hit Vader over the head with a wrench at No Way Out 1998, and of course we see John Moxley take a hammer, because what else would this madman take? And he goes up, and was it Brother Zay that they brought up to the staging area?
Brother Zay, yep.
Yeah, and they just break Brother Zay's hand with a.
He wanted to create friction. Remember?
It was brutal. Yep. I tried my absolute hardest to get this going, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it.
Just go to
a little bit of resistance
and find the results.
Yeah, so you know what? Like the Nigel McGuinness video for AEW. Hey, we're all about technical difficulties here. But yeah, so
as I said, it's a live show. Anything can happen, right?
Anyone can happen.
Let's try this.
Resistance. I'm going to give you an obstacle to overcome. Consider this a gift. No, no, no! Oh, no!
Youch. That hurt me watching it. I mean, I know it's probably a gimmick hammer, but still, just the thought of it, and that's why I love pro wrestling, and that's why just like with Magic, the fun is just taking it all in, and yeah, that was something evil.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about another very evil man in a moment, but we of course had a very awesome match. If I can pull up the right one, that's not it. This is it. Ricochet taking on the Beast Muertos. Fellas, I think we all knew that this was going to absolutely be amazing. But what did you guys think of this one-on-one?
I'm just going to throw my hat full send into the mix on this one, because I'm probably going to say this for the next month or 7 or however long until I get yelled at by Mac, one of the 8 options. Why does it feel like Ricochet is cooking super hard right now? Whether it's matches, finishers, moves, or promos right now in AEW. Whereas he could have done the same thing over in WWE, but they never gave him that. They were just like, okay, go do a 5-minute flippy flip thing and then get out. Whereas now he's doing like a 15-minute match, 20-minute match probably. And I wanted to leave my couch, go use the washroom or something, but I just got glued so hard to the couch that I couldn't get up. So bravo to those two.
Oh yeah, no, these two were absolutely cooking.
It was a really great match, in my opinion. As Caesar said, Ricochet's been cooking ever came to AEW, and it is sad to see somebody like a Ricochet. We've seen it with many people that gone to WWE. Now, I'm not saying that I hate WWE. I mean, I love all professional wrestling. I love WWE, but I can't acknowledge the fact that when it comes to WWE, they do kind of treat somebody like a Ricochet and they just put him on the back burner because of his size and stature. That's why he is fit more in AEW, because Tony Khan is able to work with people like Ricochet, who does the flips, your 630s, your vertigos, and all that stuff. And the match entirety, I knew this was going to be a good match as soon as we seen Morto spear the hell out of Ricochet last week. The fact that they made this match for tonight, really great. Mortos even did some athletic things in that match too, also doing hurricanranas and stuff like that. But overall, the match was great. I like how they are pushing Ricochet to do more. See Mortos now do more. Let's see where Mortos and Ricochet can go from here. We now know what Ricochet is going to do, but give us more Mortos on Dynamite, please.
Absolutely. I know we will be getting some more toast. I believe is it a Collision where they're doing the All-Star 10-man tag where we're going to have FTR, the Outrunners, and then, of course,
Runners.
Hook.
The
The FT Runners, excuse me. And then they're going to be taking on Roosh, Rowdy, Grizzled Young Vets, and, of course, the Beast Mortos.
Oh, don't worry. I heard next month they're going to have a 20-man match in October.
Building up to it. You got the roster for it.
And then the 30-man match on Dynamite in November. And then the full-blown 50-man match in December. Yeah.
There we go. That's how it happens. But in this in particular, we only needed 2. We only needed Mortos, and we only needed Ricochet. I literally, in my notes, have 2 lines, which is the least amount I have for anything tonight. And it just says, 2 awesome wrestlers, no time to write, just appreciation. That's absolutely what this was. I was looking very much forward to this match, and they delivered. Anything that was about to become a botch, man, they just saved it completely, and it just goes to show how good both of these guys are. And one last point I want to throw out there, Caesar, real quick, is I've always said that there are 2 people in particular that I thought would fit like a glove in AEW. The first would, of course, be Charlotte Flair. She would be such a fit for AEW. But, of course, the second one, Ricochet. Ricochet has already proven that he belongs in AEW, and this feels like his company. Caesar, what were you going to say, though, buddy?
Now, my question I was going to ask you, because you have the direct source to this one, what did Mama LaRocco think? We have to get the big opinion on this one. What did she think of this?
Or Mortos and Ricochet?
Yeah.
I mean, I know usually whenever there's a Mortos match, her opinion will always be, I hope he doesn't hurt someone with those horns. But she also has always been just a lifelong Ricochet fan. I remember years ago when I would be showing her, when I was a young pupper myself, and I was showing her matches of a young man climbing up a ladder and doing a double moonsault. And I was showing her, like, look how crazy this guy is. And just, seeing where Ricochet was with the double moonsault going viral in the early internet days, and now all of a sudden being here and being without a doubt just the guy to fly around. He is the ultimate elite guy. And even like he told Ospreay, everyone wants to take him on. No one's talking about Ospreay anymore. Ospreay's old news, which honestly, you know what? Let's just get right into that segment. I mean, Will Ospreay and Ricochet having a face-to-face. Ricochet has been thinking a lot about what Will Ospreay said, so he's getting his wins up. Ricochet cutting the promos. This man has always wanted to, bring the intensity in there, and mentioning, they're all worried about Ricochet. No one's calling out Will Ospreay. So, of course, this leads into the announcement that following Grand Slam, Ricochet has himself a match with Will Ospreay October 2nd for the 5th year anniversary of AEW Dynamite.
That's going to be such like a barn burner. That's going to be such a great match. And the fact I got to throw this out there. Ricochet doing promos, it freaks me out, but he can cook when he's doing promos. So thank you, Tony, for letting him do his thing.
Absolutely, man. Brought a level of intensity I didn't realize he had, and I loved it.
He was just like, watch this, guys. I'm going to do this. And then he just went for it.
He was laying out disses to Ospreay like he was Slim Shady. Like, he was doing really well with how poignant and everything that he was making sure that us viewers know that he's getting under the skin of Will Ospreay by saying what he said by saying like that on, hey, everybody's giving me attention now. You're old news, buddy. Like, it's time for me to come out to the front of this line. And I think Ricochet always had that in him. He did pretty well with promos and NXT, and then he got called up to the main roster. That was gone. Now that we can see Ricochet finally get out of that shell, that sets up for a match I had for years too. Ospreay and Ricochet. Not gonna lie, the match that made me a Will Ospreay fan was his match against Ricochet in New Japan years ago.
I wonder why.
Going viral, absolutely. I like what Max said on here. I feel like Ricochet is a guy that can't be overly produced. He can't be told when he needs to hit certain moves because of what time it is or what quarter hour we're going into. Independent, give him a little restriction, and back to his roots. Ricochet feels right, like a whole new guy. And I also like the added part that Max said was someone put me the gram speed over that Ricochet promo immediately. Absolutely.
Someone's pretty done that by now. See, I actually do agree with Mac, and it's like that. I don't know how you call it an expression or a saying. Like you give an artist like some direction, you don't give the artist the exact direction on something. So I do agree with what Mac is saying. Is you got to let him say, okay, here's your match. It's 20 minutes. Go out there. Here's who's going to finish the match, and don't kill yourselves, kind of thing. That's how it should be. Not all right. Like Max said, I want you to do. I got to do this exact moves. You can do any flippy. Like, we don't want that. That's how, if it's like that, then skip. So I'm hella
defeats. It's 100%
exactly. Completely defeats what we've all known Ricochet could do from his years before, the WWE machine.
Double E.
Yeah, Robbie, were you gonna say something there? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I wasn't. I was just saying I 100% agree. That was it.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? We talked about the barn burner that match was, the barn burner that will be, and let's talk about just the burner in general. Of course, the fireman, Adam Page, comes out. He's got an entire Tron of pure fire and brimstone. Man's reminding me of Kane. I love it. You got the orange lighting. You've got, of course, the fire effects. The Contron is literally him burning Swerve Strickland's childhood home down. But the fireman is turning his attention to one Mr. Tony Schiavone. And Hangman kind of remembers Tony Schiavone just saying something a little too silly on commentary, taking someone's side. And Tony is trying to say, hey, don't look at me, look at Jeff Jarrett. But you know what? The last outlaw, Jeff Jarrett, saves the day. Or at least he tried to. And Jeff Jarrett and Hangman Adam Page get into a huge scuffle. Security comes down. Local jobbers are trying to break it up. Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh even come down. We've talked about Satnam Singh's dark match. So, you know what? There's a lot of aspects in here. One of the important notes that I wanted to bring up real quick was Jeff Jarrett yelling that if this is the last thing that he does in his career, he will beat him. Do we see a potential retirement match between Jeff Jarrett putting his career on the line against the Hangman?
Yes.
I see that, but knowing Jeff Jarrett, he's probably going to go for more after Hangman. I think he's got another year or two left in him. But
yeah, that
would be a fitting retirement match. I mean, Cowboy versus Cowboy anyway. So what best way to do it?
A barn burner.
Definitely. And also touching on the whole thing too about what Neek said with the Kane vibe going. I also felt that way because it seems like even before he lit Swerve's childhood home on fire, it felt like how Kane was when he first unmasked in 2002 or 2003. I'm pretty sure it was
Pure Rage. Yeah.
Okay.
It was when he opened up the mask. We all thought we were going to see burns and scars from his face, in kayfabe wise. Well, it was more, but we seen the next week that was all cleaned up. I wonder if Hangman's been studying from Kane a little bit from that time,
or horror movies.
That were horror movies and learning.
Kane was built up from horror movies, so either way would be right.
Yeah,
and basically looking at it as this is me here. Ever since Swerve been following me, stalking me around, threatening my family. Now that scar is it's burnt into his head. He's not even done with Swerve yet either. He's still wanting to go back after Swerve. Even if if Jarrett is just a high road, he's now going after everybody that supported him in the sense, which to me is very similar to how Kane was when he first unmasked, because he didn't have any burns or scars after that unmasking. It was all up in his head. Just like with Hangman right now, it's all up in his head. It feels just like how Kane unmasked. That's where I'm liking this whole storyline to begin with.
So, can I make a firm prediction here about this whole situation with the two of these guys?
Go for it.
So, yes, there's going to be a match between the two of them. Yes, it's going to be something. Why do I feel like Hangman's going to try and one-up himself? He burned down Swerve's childhood home, and I feel like he's going to try and one-up himself with the Jarrett match. I don't know how.
I agree with you on that because honestly, I thought he was going to light Tony Schiavone on fire tonight.
No, I couldn't see it.
I was thinking something like that could have happened. Like maybe not like actually do it, but like at least like getting ready to do something crazy to Schiavone. Lois will fight the Hangman.
next pay-per-view. No, the one thing I could see Hanger try doing is maybe like in a cinematic style match, taking Jeff, knocking him out, and leaving him in a house and burning it down or blowing it up.
I can see that too.
They got the budget.
I can see that. It's either that or also they could do is go back to No Mercy 2005 where Randy Orton, Bob Orton lit a casket on fire on Undertaker with the Undertaker inside. He could also do that as well if they really want to, if they make it a coffin match.
I don't think they'll go that way. It'll be cowboy oriented for sure.
I think that's just my personal preference. I want to see.
Oh,
hey, Robbie, you brought up personal preference, so you know what? Let's get right into it. So, fellas, now is the time that we got through all of the 259th episode of AEW Dynamite. Let's go and look at who our megastar of the night is. This is brought to you by NordVPN. We've mentioned comic book clicks. Scroll to the very bottom, and you can check out NordVPN, keeping yourself safe. 72% off your purchase of a year, and you're going to get some extra free months on there. Go check it out.
I'm starting first.
Go get it.
Before anyone else says a damn word, I'm saying it first because I always take my choice. I'm saying it right now. The team of the Don Callis family as a megastar. That shit was fire. I don't know who, like I said, everyone did their thing in their own way and sold so well. Like, I almost want to say Takeshita, but then Fletcher shows something good, and then I go, okay, Fletcher, and then Ospreay says something or does something. I'm like, oh my god. So, yeah, the three of them. That's all I got.
Absolutely. Robbie, you got yours?
Mine is I'm going to shock the hell out of everybody watching tonight or what's going to be watching in the past.
JD
even
Inc.
for some of us here. And that is going to be my star of the night, mega star of the night, is actually Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, right on.
Here's the reason why. The fact that Jarrett came down for the save, because we all know Jarrett and Shivani, they are really good friends. They've worked for each other for God knows how long because of the lineage that Jarrett has in the wrestling business, along with the side his dad Jerry. But put me as the megastar tonight was the promo he cut. It's personal. This is a personal. I love the fact that he said, if this is the last thing I'm going to do in this wrestling business, Hanger, I'm going to kick your ass. And that is my megastar of the night. He made an impact that is now going to week. So mine is Jeff Jarrett.
I want to, okay, seriously, that's a good choice. Also, I want to throw this towards Max's opinion in the chat about the megastar thing.
Max saying his megastar is Tony Schiavone for showing so much restraint and not beating up the Hangman.
You know why? You know why, Mac? Because there's gonna be a future match at a pay-per-view where Tony Schiavone just destroys them. It's happening. Tony Schiavone, top rope, shooting star press, wins the match.
630. He's gonna pull a 630.
The rest kick it to a 630 from the middle rope. There you go.
When Lois feeds him that steak dinner, everything can happen with Tony Schiavone.
The thing we gotta figure out is who's Neek's megastar.
You know what? I was thinking long and hard about this. I was considering the Hanger, but my heart and brain are both instead just going right over to Ricochet. The man had an amazing match yet again. He showed out, and on top of that, he showed us what he can do when you give him freedom and what he can do when you give him a microphone. I absolutely dug everything that Ricochet has done thus far in AEW, and I continue to do so, and I really look forward to his match with Ospreay.
You know who I want to see Ricochet go with? Anybody?
Who?
Fletcher.
Oh yeah. I think that's one I want to see.
Well, not to mention Fletcher's like super young still, so that'd be a big rub for him. I don't even care about a title on the line. Just give us the match. And
we were talking about Ricochet here too. One match I want to see Ricochet have is go against Nick Wayne. I feel like they would have a barn burner too.
That'd be a banger. You know what I would love to see? Ricochet versus Dante Martin.
That would be a banger as well from Top Flight.
But give them their old uniforms back, not the male stripper outfits.
But you know what? All this talk of matches will bring us right up to the match of the night. This is powered by monk.com, monq.com. Go and get your personal aromatherapy diffusers today. And when you do, get 10% off when you use promo code DSR10 at checkout. All right, match of the night going in reverse order. I will be going with mine. Man, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Hey, listen, he was my megastar of the night, so I gotta go with him. Ricochet,
Okay.
and of course, the Beast Muertos had a fantastic match. This was my barn burner for the night. I loved it. I didn't take the time to write notes down. The way both of these guys worked together was awesome. And while it might have come off a little rough at certain parts, they were both able to save one another and just keep it going. And that's what I appreciate about pro wrestling. All right, who's up next on this? Robbie, is that you?
It'll be me. Yep. And for my match of the night is going to be Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. This has been a rematch I've been wanting to see once again. Orange Cassidy and Jericho, they looked great in the ring together once again. I love how you have Big Bill coming in, laying the big boot. I'm sitting here thinking, oh shit, Jericho just cheated this match to win. Then Kyle O'Reilly coming down, chopping him like a tree. Then you had Brian Keith trying to get in there, but then Briscoe him off. It was a really fun match. The wrestling stuff itself, this has been Jericho's best match I've seen from him in a long time. Jericho countering the Orange Parts with the code breaker. That was well timed. And I liked how Orange Cassidy used a Jericho tactic against Jericho by taking those roller quarters and punch. Now that leaves me wanting actually more. I think that actually made this feud a little bit more interesting for me. Is what are they going to do next after this?
All right, Caesar.
See, it should be pretty obvious what my match is because of how hyped I was about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the trios match. Like I said in the chat, I've said in the stream, and I've said to you guys, that match, the fact that you had three guys that weren't normally a tag team, but United Empire were a tag team or a group, and then they went for a while as the three of them. Like, I was actually half expecting the Don Callis family to sort of taunt the Elite, do their pose. They didn't, which was kind of surprising, but
There we go.
Anyways.
Well, hey, you know what, fellas? That was us. That was us discussing the 259th episode of AEW Dynamite. Chat, thank you for joining us. But if you enjoyed hanging out with us, guess what? This is Dirt Sheet Radio. Some might say we're always on. So, hey, like I said, go check us out. We're, of course, going to be on after every show, like Monday Night Raw, for instance. Caesars, who's on this one?
I believe me and a few friends are on there, but only way to find out is check us out on the Monday.
Of course. Hey, guess what? There's also stuff on a Tuesday. Go check out the NXT live stream. Hey, you know what? It's Wednesday, so you are already here. So come and visit us again next week. But hey, if you want to hang out pretty soon, just stay around. We're going to have the best kept secret in all of podcasting and pro wrestling, where Greg, John, and of course myself will be on there talking anything and everything for the last week of wrestling. Hey, sometimes our boy Mac will join us, and we'll be getting him on there very, very soon. Oh, Mac, even saying, see you tonight.
He's
Mac,
not talking about the podcast either.
Oh.
He's just going to see you.
There's nothing wrong with that. I do owe this guy an episode. Speaking of which, we've been talking about it here and there. We're going to be doing a WCW recap show looking at Spring Stampede 99. This was all my fault that we didn't record the episode we were supposed to do this past week. I have been sick.
Copy.
I have been dealing with a sinus infection, and I do have the VHS copy, but I've also been watching it. I've been watching it online and trying to take in anything and everything that I could. But you know what? Following that, of course, Thursdays, we got Impact. Fridays, I'm going to be on Fridays with SmackDown. Hey, we got the new logo on there. Let's go.
Let's go.
Exactly. Hey, maybe Saturday. That's a good WCW show day. We don't really have much there, but that's your time to chill, because then Sunday we're going to have, of course, pay-per-view coverage whenever pay-per-views are on. CJ and Tyler's NXT Level Up Adventure, of course. Woo! And hey, again, we're going to have more Dirt Sheet Radio content, because later on, too, you'll usually see the 3NT crew. All of them hanging out. It's always a great time. But you know what?
Let's go.
This has been great. I enjoyed hanging out with you, chat. For Caesar, for Robbie, for myself, for our boy John Escudero, who didn't get to join us this time, but we will probably be seeing him later tonight or next week. Chat, it was awesome. This is fantastic. This is also, chat, National Suicide Prevention Day. So remember, chat, you're loved. There's always an option. Make sure that you go take care of yourself. Talk to somebody. Exactly. Don't be afraid to talk to anyone. Talk to us. We're always on. We're always here for you. So
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
thank you, chat. So